What's going on, guys? Radio Graffiti here, and today I want to talk to you guys about Dune 2. Now, the first Dune is a movie I really only seen because of the cast. I've seen they had Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, Josh Brolin, Zendaya, and all these other people, and then Denis Villeneuve as a director. I like a lot of his work, so I thought I'd give it a shot, and the trailers look pretty cool. And I watched it and I was very confused throughout the whole film, but I thought it looked fascinating. I found it very interesting. I was intrigued for a second part though to see where it would go. And now it's finally here. I've been hyped to see this movie for over a week now. I've been hearing all these reviews about how this is the best movie ever. It's one of the best sequels since The Dark Knight and Empire Strikes Back. And a movie's gotta be good when people are using The Dark Knight as a comparison. And it's not a superhero movie. And yeah, this movie's pretty damn good, if I do say so myself. Now, just like the first Dune, I was very confused through this. I don't know anything about the books or this whole thing, but I started to kind of pick up what was going on later on in the film. I understood things here and there, and especially later on in the film, it gets really good, and it goes off, and I'm like, I need part 3 right now. So what I like about this film? Well, the acting is fantastic. Standouts for me would be Timothée Chalamet, and then you got Austin Butler. I loved Austin Butler in this movie. I don't think I've ever seen this guy in anything. I know he played Elvis, but in this movie, this guy was fantastic. He was so interesting. Even just the way he looked at people was just saying a lot. His performance was just fantastic. And like the first Dune, the cinematography, the music, the production design, it was all just fantastic, just as good as the first movie. If anything, I like this even better because I actually seen this in a movie theater, whereas the first Dune, I made the mistake of watching it at home. I think that definitely has a huge impact on how you view the film, because it just looks so beautiful when you see it on a big screen. This is just incredible. And the romance in this film, I actually ended up caring about Zendaya and Timothée Chalamet's character. Usually in romance, you're like, oh, this is boring, can we move on from this already? But I found their relationship really cute, actually. And Zendaya's character was actually pretty interesting. Some of the standout scenes in this film is when Paul is like, nobody here can whoop me. That was just so dope. The way he just walks up to people and was just like, yeah, I know what you're dreaming about. I know your nightmares. And they're all just like, oh my god, he's the chosen one. Javier Bardem, he was basically just dick riding the whole film. Everything Paul Atreides does throughout the film, he's just like, it is as if it was written. Oh my god, this dude's so fucking dope. He's just the biggest hype man ever. Everyone's like, oh, he ain't with the shit. So then Javier Bardem's character is just like, no, he's for real. He's him, for real. He's that guy. So I thought that was pretty funny how his character was just basically a hype man throughout the whole film. And the other standout scene in the film, there's tons of standout fight scenes, like Austin Butler's character when he first gets introduced to him and he's fighting the guys who are drugged, and then he ends up fighting the one guy who's not drugged. That scene was pretty dope as well, but my favorite was the one at the end with him and Paul. Just the fact there was no music and you could just focus on the grunts and just the sound effects of them knives swinging around and them hitting each other. That was just so fucking dope. I love that kind of shit in movies when we just stop the music and you can really focus in on it. It makes it so much more intense. I'm kind of sad that Austin Butler's character died though, because I kind of wanted to see more of this guy. He was just so fucking great. Every time he's on screen, I can't help but he has my attention. The dude's fantastic. Josh Brolin, he shows up at the last hour out of nowhere, but fuck it, he was badass. And every time he talks, all I can hear is Thanos. I'm sorry, but the dude just naturally sounds like Thanos. I don't even think he had to try much at all to sound like Thanos. This dude has such a badass fucking voice. He is so fucking cool. I think this might be the first time, well, outside of the first Dune, that Javier Bardem and Josh Brolin are in a movie together since No Country for Old Men. So, that was pretty cool. I just want to bring that up. And this Dune shit is really fucking weird, man. It's really weird. Maybe a little too weird for me at times. Here's some of the weird shit just off the top of my head in this movie. That was just kind of a little too weird for me. That made no sense. Okay, so why are there security guards dressed like cockroaches? That happens when Austin Butler's character first gets introduced and then the security rolls up because I think he's about to die. Why are they dressed like cockroaches? That shit looks so weird. Then there's people wearing curtains on their face. Florence Pugh is wearing like a tinfoil ski mask. And Jessica, she has like face tattoos, like she's some kind of rapper or some shit, and she's over here talking to her unborn baby. Like, what the fuck? This shit's weird, man. Then you got some giant monster guy who's like bathing in gasoline, and a black midget that drowns a sandworm to make some kind of blue poison. Yo, this Dune shit's really fucking weird, man. I thought I'd seen everything I could see in movies, but no, this shit is a whole nother level. It was kind of dope though, I'm not even gonna lie to you. But yeah, all the fight scenes in this film, they're all pretty fast. It's very easy to see what's going on. It's all handled very well. There was a lot of cool shit in this movie, like people just hiding in sand and popping up out of nowhere. That shit was really dope. This movie's just awesome. I really enjoyed this movie. It was so fascinating. I kind of found it to be sort of like when I first watched Tenet in a movie theater. I was just so confused for a lot of the runtime, but I was just finding it so fascinating how interesting it was. What was going on. It's like I was too smart for me or something. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Dune Part 2. Really enjoyed this film. I can't wait to see Part 3. Eventually I'll start to understand what the hell's going on with this franchise. This shit is like a smart person's Star Wars or like a science fiction Game of Thrones. And I just find it very fascinating. It's so cool to watch. Give Denis Villeneuve all the money for the next one. Just all of the monies. And the ending was so dope when Timothée Chalamet kills Austin Butler's character. Then he's like, oh, hey, I'm going to take your daughter, Mr. Emperor, sir. And then Zendaya's all like, oh, for real? And then she just storms off and she calls a sandworm. Like, these people call sandworms like they're taxis or something. What I thought was pretty interesting is like you see this giant deadly creature coming towards you and you're just like, oh yeah, that's my taxi. That's my Uber. Oh, okay. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Dune Part 2. What did you guys think about Dune Part 2? Do you think this is one of the best movies ever made? Do you think it's better than the first one? Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. Personally, for me, I thought the first Dune, yes, it was a slow burn, but it was almost 3 hours, so it was kind of, dare I say, boring. Just a little bit. I found this movie a lot more enjoyable for me because it had more action, so people like me who are like, this shit's confusing as fuck, can be more appealed by the film. So I definitely like this movie a lot more. And just the villain in the movie was way more entertaining. I can't even tell you who the villain was in the first one. I guess the big fat guy? I don't remember. But yeah, anyways, I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video. And let the spice flow.